Morning, team. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're doing good. Hope you are doing good. I had a very tricky day yesterday. Those who joined me would have seen many issues on stream with data problems. Still haven't quite got to the bottom of what was causing it. Seems like it's okay today so far. I've done a little test on Sim just to make sure it's putting the orders in and letting me move limits, which it wasn't doing yesterday. So that's a good start. But Apex blaming it on Ninja and Trader8 saying they have no ideas, leaving me completely in the dark. So I did take a red day yesterday. Not a big one, 1 hour down, but I did take a red day. So just a bit of transparency. But very hard to trade when you can't move stops and limits. Anyways, let's get into the chart, shall we? We're going to start off on the daily chart. Starting off on the daily, let's have a little look. All right, so objective number 1 for this week was to close this gap here. Objective complete. All right, so big old tick there. All right, if we think about what we're trying to accomplish, this was the move yesterday we were looking for, wasn't it? From the open, anything above here, fill this gap. So objective number 1 complete. Is this a good buying location right here? No. Terrible, isn't it? Think about the gap. There's Friday's close right here. All right, we're now gapping up 500 points now without a return inside to test this RBS level. So not loving the location of longs. So ideally today, we're looking for a pullback into a key level yesterday that we created for a drive up to 500, right? This old high here. Right? If we're able to get through that, all right, if we offer a pullback, ideally for us to get long, some kind of bullish pattern. Oh, let's draw that out properly. Some kind of bullish pattern in here for a drive up to 500. We'll then be taking profit at 500 and waiting for the next move, or at least taking some. The next move could be a drive into 700. If you're thinking, why 700? Because on the weekly, all right, we have this old imbalance on a weekly, and this right here is basically 700. All right, so if we can get through 500, through 440s, drift 500 into this move here, 700 basically. That's what I'd be looking at. You can see on the daily and the weekly, all right, nice drive up. We're now above that 20-day. So the next key thing is this 5-day, 20-day. If 5-day starts supporting and we do this move here, it is opening a drift higher, all right? It's opening the door to a drift higher. What does that mean? Look at the Bollinger Band. Look at this Bollinger Band. They're going to start to come into squeeze kind of territory again, all right? And then at this point, we probably do this, and at some point, it will do the next move, whether that be continuation lower or a squeeze and rally all the way back higher, all right? So everything we've talked about from this lower bowl, once it takes the 5-day, test the 20-day. If it can reclaim 20-day, it can go back up to this lower Bollinger Band. It would still be in a downtrend. This would still be a counter trend pullback to potentially go lower. So that's what I'm looking at today. How can we get involved though? That's the key thing, right? If we want longs, how can we get involved? Because we don't want to buy high, do we? It's the key thing. We really don't want to buy high. So we're going to have to look at the hourly. Hourly extended. All right. In fact, let's just go to the 4-hour. Oh, this is the 4-hour. Fantastic. All right. From Friday, straight up, gaps up, straight up, little consolidation, straight up. Do we want to buy the top of this 4-hour when it's left imbalances down here, consolidation here, and a gap here? No, right? No, we don't. It's an easy way to get absolutely wrecked. Now, having said that, will I buy high today? The only way I will buy high today is if we get above these old highs here, all right, and we pull back inside and we're able to hold, and I'm thinking, okay, we're going to go for 700s. Otherwise, we're looking for a pullback play. So on an hourly, dial this in a bit, you can see we created a huge amount of volume here. Here's point of control yesterday, right? This is yesterday's point of control and overnight's point of control and anchor view up off 930 open. So big level there into 350. If the pullback holds over the top of this sort of level here, 370, all right, if we come back, fill this H1 imbalance, and we're able to hold this, I'm thinking about longs if it gives a lower time frame opportunity. If it comes deeper, All right, we think about this as a giant flag. If it comes deeper, there is an imbalance down here. It might want to fill as well as this one. So if it comes all the way down into here, VWAP, point of control, that's also an area, 350. All right, so 350 and sort of 390, 370, those are areas I'm looking at for potential longs. All right, to only if we haven't taken out 500, by the way. All right, I'm not, if we've taken out 500 and we drift back in, I'm less interested. I don't want the low hanging fruit taken out. It's got to drift in, offer me a bullish setup to get long. Now, if it drifts in and it gets stuck like this, it can do this all session if it wants. It can even do that move a bit deeper. All right, it can also do something like this. Then what am I going to be very aware of? I'm very aware at that point that we're using liquidity and we can abuse it and come right back down, fill some of these imbalances, back test this RBS level, maybe fill this new week opening gap. All right, so you have to be cautious. The long is technically still counter trend. So that's ideally what I'd like. I'd like the H1 to pull back either 370s, maybe a little bit deeper, 350s, an overshoot of that possible. We need bullish structure. Remember, we're not just buying dips into that. Any failure underneath that, I'm less and less interested. In fact, that might be a leave alone kind of session for me where we go rotation for 70 points, chop everyone up before it makes its decision of either a spring or a let go or a fail breaking down. So I want to be very, very cautious about it getting stuck between 370 and 300. I'm really uninterested in that play there if it gets stuck in there. Let's move down or move down into this 5-minute chart above. All right, so you can see overnight we had more consolidation. So most of the volume, like we talked about yesterday, was created here. All right, once we got above this level here yesterday at the New York Open and we held it, so from 300 up to 400 is basically 100 points there, but most of it was created in about an 80-point range. Right, and eventually at the end of the day yesterday, we did that move to 400, which I was calling for all day, saying the market wants to take out 400. It just had to chop, all right? It had to chop a bit here, and eventually once we broke, it pushed and it did a clear out, all right? At this point here, it rotates back down because it's achieved its job, and Asia trades inside New York. Remember, this is New York. Asia trades inside New York. London sweeps New York. Remember, London sweeps New York's lows, finds bids, grinds higher. Look at that beautiful move from London. Now our location is up here. Is that a good buying location? No. We need a pullback, don't we? Like we talked about. All right, so this is it. We're looking for a pullback into here to buy. If it doesn't do that, if it goes straight squeeze mode, we can consider stuff above these pivots, all right? Above 500s if it holds. I really don't love this play. We're buying very, very high, but if it traps enough here, maybe it does something like this, or even better would be push, grind, 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 sweep, reclaim, go. Something like that signature above 500 I'd be interested in, but otherwise I'm really looking for that pullback. I do not want to get trapped high today. All right, team? Really important. You do not get trapped high today. Remember, we're in supply. You can see the supply in this red block. This is the top of the liquidity. This is a supply block. As soon as we came in, we got our first rejection. So hopefully you can see all that nicely. You can see what I'm looking for. So far, we're trend up though, aren't we? All right, everything multi-time frame up. Look at the flow zones. Everything's giving good strength to upside right now. We're not looking to pick tops. We're not looking to pick tops. The short will become obvious when it's ready. All right. Yes, you could have taken a short here, but look how quickly it got absorbed. Now, if they're going to be nasty, they're going to go straight away at the open, which really let's hope that they don't do that. A few other things to look at. ES pretty much in a very similar boat. All right, I'd say ES, if it can hold previous day high, previous day close. So far, it held previous day high on that pre-market pullback into 826. If it can hold same kind of levels as the ES, right? In VWAP, previous day close, 815, still looking good. ETFs are pretty much in sync. Right? They're pretty much in sync. We're tapping into supply on the QQQ and the SPY right now. So pre-market high on those would be key. If we're going to go for that push and base above pre-market high, then yes, potentially there's a join there, but I don't absolutely love it just due to the location. Having a look at the VIX. All right, VIX is in a complete melt. All right, ever since that close last week, all we've done is drift down from 20s now down into 17s. All right, constantly rejecting previous day low, wash lower. And we go sideways, and now we're under the previous day low again and previous day close into low 17. So let's just zoom out here and see if there's some liquidity it can aim for. Give me 1 second. So we are coming into a bit of an old RBS level. Let's pull this along. There's an old spike high here at 1712. So right where we are now, we can drift all the way down into 16 if it wants. If it really is going to melt, it's going to have to take out 1475. You know, it's very unlikely, but possible. When we're down into those low teens is when this market can really get bullish. At the moment, my feeling is we're counter trend and in a bit of a short squeeze for relief higher. I don't really feel like we're in major bullish momentum yet, but that can change very, very quickly. So let's just keep an eye on that today on the VIX. But we're extended on the VIX ever since it broke down yesterday from 1950. You know, we're 2.5 points down. It's a strong move down. Again, look at a 4 hour, look at an hour. There has been no pullback, really. It's just in complete melt mode. Very much like the NQ. When you go to the higher time frame, it's pretty much straight up. Look at the 4 hour and the hour, pretty much straight up. So you don't want to be joining the top of that. Let's have a look at the mag. I can do this on here so you can all see. Apple. Let's make sure it's on extended. Yeah. All right. So Apple gapping up, but stuck underneath previous day high. So there's your pivot for today, 221.50. Pulling back right now. Whole market seems to be pulling back right now. Same story here on Microsoft. Gapping up. There's previous day close. Gapping up, but underneath previous day high. So no breakout scenario yet. Amazon. Gapping up over previous day high. Very, very strong. So if it can build that base anywhere down here, 203s, it looks good for continuation. If it starts letting go of previous day close, you're going to get into consolidation where it has that possibility to go for 201. Very similar to the market where we don't want to see it do that move if we're thinking about bullish structure. Google gapping up over previous day high looks very, very strong in pre-market. That is a good move and continuing higher here. Meta the same, super, super strong. Remember, last year, Meta was the strong one out of these names, and it continues to have relative strength in this market. Gapping up over PDC, over PDH with a good move to the upside. So look at that. It's about a 10-point gap up here from previous day close. Very, very strong. NVIDIA, gapping down. There's your PDC, rolling pre-market, tried to reclaim PDC, rejected, stuck at its VWAP right now, but in a gap down. And Tesla gapping up again, all right, following that news yesterday, Trump putting a task force together to aggressively persecute and or arrest those who are damaging Tesla cars, all the vandalism that's happening. So decent gap up on Tesla, but again, it's got that pivot. If you're playing Tesla today, 285.81. All right, that's your overnight pivot. Through that, you have more relief upside. All right, and that should pretty much have us covered here for open. So pathing for me, like we talked about, I'd love to see something into here with some bullish structure. If it holds PDH and builds there, I'll consider it, but it's less than ideal. I'd much rather something slightly deeper into this structure here, right? And then some bullish structure to go. If we start fading underneath that, I would consider it here, but anything too deep into here, I'm going to be risk off because then we're into choppy action and I don't really want to get caught in all of this. You can see this is just rotation, 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 failure, failure. I don't want this to be failure. It has to hold this for a drive higher. Failing to hold this, we go back into rotation. That is chop zone, and that is where you get yourself in trouble. All right, so really not interested under PDC. All right, let's get through some shout outs, see how everyone's doing here this morning. Hopefully lots of you starting to join. Over 100 of you in chat. Let's smash that like button before we go any further. Good morning, Jeff, Trentry, JD Florida Man, Dopamine, Arturo, DJ Noah, Miguel, Thumper, Christy, Brandon, Jake and Up One, Mindful Matters, Dre the Trader, Brad, Leron Williams, Cat, Peter, Radar, Julian, Louis, Clint, Andrew H, Tracy Jones, Vince S, Scrooge, Max Bucks, BU, Phenom Z, Jesse M, TR, Stephen W, Marek, Andrew G, Crawford, Lindell, Jimbo, Mr. Slim, Ironclad, Michael Pope, and Stephen C. Good morning, everyone. Oh, this hat means God in Portuguese, is that right? It's Deus Ex Machina. It's a surf and biker brand I've loved for ages. I like it less and less now because it's become a bit commercial. I first visited their store out in Indonesia and Bali probably about 10 years ago, and then they've got one down the road from me in Venice. Cool little coffee shop. All right, so you can see market starting to roll over here. All right, there's your high. There's the sweep. There's the trade inside, and it's starting to get slammed. So we're interested down here. We've got to remember, though, today, it's a big move up. If this wants to let go of the whole thing, remember, yesterday was a bit of a squeeze as well. It has the opportunity to. It has the opportunity to get heavy today. So you want to be careful. I know we're thinking about the longs, but we're only thinking about them if it proves itself. If it proves itself. Good morning, Paul. Yeah, correct. There's one thing I should have said. There is news today. All right, it's not red folder news. I think Fed speakers are throughout the day, and we have some news at, I'm going to get it up now because I did post it in the Discord. Let's have a quick look. News at 10 o'clock. All right, consumer confidence and then new home sales. And yes, Fed speakers throughout the day. So you want to be careful of that. Hopefully, some of these news networks fix the tech issues that they're having. It feels, for some reason, everyone had tech issues yesterday. Very, very odd. So Carney speaking right now from Canada. And we just have to see what's what here. Market open right now in that dip this morning. Let's zoom this in a little bit for you. So first minute, opening drive lower. Remember, we're watching to see how we act down here. We'd like that retest down there. Just going to grab it here and go absolutely berserk. It's going to be hard to trade. We want that trade lower first, trap in some shorts, and then we're going to think about what's next. Let's have a look at the market then at this open. Tesla over 0.5% up, Nvidia over 0.5% down. Meta 1.36% up, Google just under 1% up, Amazon 0.5% up, Microsoft 0.25% up, and Apple pretty much flat. So this dip and rip playing out so far this morning. Didn't grab any of that, didn't come deep enough for me, and that reaction is very, very quick. Not really much you can play off that. All right, so coming back up to its pivot back up towards supply right now. Oh, it's got it on the wrong contract, isn't it? I lost all my drawings at the open. There we go. It's better. So just missing that tag in here. Not going to trade this yet. Just let it set up. Come on, flow zones. Where is everything? There we go. So I realized some of the issues I had with TradingView yesterday was because of the update. It hadn't updated across everything. I had to refresh and then it did it all. Market trying to drift higher here. VIX flattened out here. ES not really participating yet. It's trying, but I'm not convinced on any longs yet. All right, I want a deeper move first. I'm not buying into here yet. No way. Let's get our New York Open in before I forget, like I always do. There we go. All right, let's get that in. Long day ahead, guys. All right, just remember that. Don't need to be forcing anything yet. Have a quick look at the book. Not much on the book this morning. All right, I wouldn't be surprised to see a bit of a choppy day today, given the size of the move from Sunday's open. All right, we're up pretty decent now since that Sunday open. Would like to see this fade here. All right, potential for a short here for a fade back down. So far, rejecting supply. There's potential for a short here back down into here. I'm not playing the short. I'm going to wait to see the long. Right, but there's potential for a bit of a flush back down towards VWAP and stuff if it wants to play. It's high risk because momentum technically is upside, but it is so far rejecting that supply. I'm looking for someone to play that short, someone with bigger hands than me, and then I'll think about getting long when they start to cover. ES into previous day high here. SPY coming close to previous day high and VWAP. VWAP's what it soaked off at the open. So let's just see here. Let's see how we go. Want that drift back down into the structure that we created yesterday. If you zoom out on like an M15 or something like that, you'll see what I'm talking about. I want that drift back down into sort of 370s, and I'll have a look there to see if some bids come in and they firm up. If they keep catching it here, it's going to be very, very hard to play this. ES holding PDH for now. A little bit whippy here this morning, bit of back and forth on that opening imbalance drive down. If they start reclaiming up here, they go for the squeeze. I really want to see this move lower first. All right, we're looking for better prices to think about getting longs. We do not want to long at the highs in supply where we failed. It's a very, very easy way to get absolutely mullered. I'm quite happy not taking a trade here today if it's just going to not do the move and chop around. That's also fine because I know Wednesday, Thursday, Friday we're going to have some moves. So here we go. That short probably going to play out for you if you took it here. If it gets that breaker structure, there you go. There's your breaker structure. So probably going to drift down into the zone we want, ideally. ES letting go of PDH here. So I'd like to see ES trade all the way back down to PDC, close that gap into 815s on the ES and the VWAP. And I'm looking for us to do the same thing, basically be efficient, close the gap back down towards 370 to 350s, somewhere around there, and see if we put in some bullish structure. That's what I'd like to see this morning. Bear flag playing out for you at the open. There's your sell. You're looking to cover some in here, all right? This level here is where I'm expecting buyers to step back in here and here. So at least 50% off, if not more, into here, and then some runners into there, and you can always hold 10% or something in case, just in case, they start melting it today. Just in case. ES getting close to its VWAP right now. SPY already underneath the VWAP right now. QQQ coming to close the gap here. SPY a little far away from that gap fill. All right, so if they're going to need to be efficient on the SPY, I would not be surprised if NQ melts a little further than the gap. So I'm just watching this. Here's that trade looking very good for you, those of you who took it. Looking really good here. And back down into these key levels. All right, so you should be starting to take some partials into these key levels. Expect some covering in and around these key levels. ES into VWAP here. It can still close its gap, right? NQ and ES can still close the gap. Gap on the ES will take you down to 815. Gap on the SPY will take you down to 574. Gap on the QQQ would take you down to 490. And gap for us is right here, this yellow line down to 374. So we're waiting to see how we respond if and when we close it. But so far, you should be 1 for 1 if you took that short. Very nice. Peter saying, no rush for me. I caught the move from 332 and got out at 410 this morning. Lovely, mate. Very nice. So there's the response so far. That is ES VWAP that we're bouncing off so far. And look at that. Nice little shove back upside. I would still like this deeper, but that's going to be it. That might be it. It'd be annoying if it leaves a little gap open as it got so close. It really was not far away. So I'd still like this deeper, really. Go and be an efficient market. Go and close the gap. Then we can think about what next. That would be ideal. Little divergence here between the placement of the VWAPs. ES finding a bid off the VWAP. SPY is underneath its VWAP right now. QQQ is pretty much on its VWAP right now. NQ not quite on its VWAP. Once we get through the next half an hour, I'll put an anchor on. Once we get through the next half hour. Would still really like to see this trade lower first. I would like one more shove down. So far, they're protecting the VWAP on the ES. Come on, folks. At least more than half of you have not hit that like button. Do me a favor. Smash it, please. Still got that head cold. The pollution from Mexico City definitely didn't help. It's the only thing I'd say over there. Heavily polluted. Air quality not great. All right, stuck underneath that New York Open. I really want to see this close the gap. Do not want to long yet. I'd love to see this close the gap. But ES finding a bid right now off the VWAP. Should come further down here. We should really bear flag and move lower here and close the gap if it's going to be efficient. The only thing holding the market up is the VWAP on the ES right now. Here we go. So rejecting that 930, can we get that move back down? The danger is if it doesn't do the move down, all right, if it doesn't come down into here, it can use this, right? But what we'd like to see is this come deeper, and then we can think about a long. Remember, news at 10 o'clock as well. Back into flow zones here, back into the NYC Open. ES still holding that bid. I'd still going to remain that I would like to see this move lower first before I think about getting long. VIX rejecting its downtrend from the last few sessions as well. Just see that now, spiking up and rejecting downtrend. So money coming back into the market. Unfortunately, so far, I haven't filled that gap for me to think about getting long. All right, unfortunately. Can still happen. We are boxed in right now. There's only 42-point range here. We're 10 minutes into the session. That is not very big, considering what we've been used to recently. So at some point, that will probably expand. Lots of small orders of liquidity on the book here, stacked between 425 and 370. Very, very choppy. Yeah, news in 20 minutes, top of the hour, that's right. And then Fed talkers as well. No trade for me yet. Not come down to where I'm interested in. I still don't trust this long yet. I will join late if it's going to really be like that, but I'd much rather see this close the gap and move lower first. But if they're not going to do it, so be it. I really want this to come down into here. I want to be thinking about buys either in here or in here. I really don't want to be thinking about buying up here. All right, it's possible that it's going to force me to think about it, but I really don't want to do that. The location at that point becomes terrible. Momentum becomes good. Location becomes terrible because then we're looking at buying. Remember, the target really is the top of this into 500. We're not leaving ourselves great RR. I mean, look at the mag now. We've got a mixed bag in the mag as well. And VIX trying to have a push back up to test its downtrend. So we're sort of out of sync here for a minute. I'm not touching this until this gets into sync. Tesla 1% down. Nvidia basically 1% down. Meta 1.2% up. Google 0.75% up. Amazon almost 1% up here. Microsoft 0.5%, and Apple 0.75% up. So mixed bag. Nvidia and Tesla the weak ones today. Back into sales. Remember, they've had relative weakness in the market for the last, well, the whole of this year, really, the first 3 months of this year. There's a drive up back into supply. Remember, this is basically supply, this red block all the way up, and rejecting there so far. I'm really not interested in getting chopped up in this. This can definitely fail up here. ES rejecting previous day high. This can be trapping both sides right now. I'm risk off, waiting. Lyndall, are tick charts important, or are they just another tool to blow up another account? Tick charts just basically doing candles by volume, right? So it's basically candles by volume rather than candles by minutes. So they can be useful. I don't trade tick charts, but that's just personal preference. There are many traders that trade tick charts. I like hourly charts and 4-hour charts and 5-minute charts and then execute lower time frame, as you well know. So I don't feel the need to use a tick chart. Some people think you can see more structure in a tick chart. I'm not sure I quite agree with that, but some people find it easier. So still inside that opening range, right? We're inside the first 5 and first 15 minute. There comes the flush. All right, so it rejected like we talked about, and here's the move back down to the levels where we're starting to have some interest. Was that news? That felt very, very aggressive. So that was a big rejection of previous day high on the ES, all right, creating a lower high underneath it. Gonna let this wash out. Remember, I'm not grabbing longs just because we're down into this level. I don't see any news right now. Apparently there are trade of 8 issues. Oh no, don't say that. Was I early yesterday and other people having it? Just see hit one of the rooms. So there's the bid off VWAP off the previous day, now closed. We're going to need some structure here. We're going to need some structure, but this was the move we were looking for. We needed it to come back down into here. ES being very, very clean today, all right? ES rejecting previous day high here for this move. Very clean on ES if you got that. Very clear downside structure right now on the ES, right? Just building lower highs and lower lows. So we're going to respect that and we're going to wait. But the market now technically has been efficient. We've closed the gap across ES. Maybe ES can, well, I did it to a tick. We've closed the gap across the ES and the NQ and finding a bid after that flush down. So letting this build out now, it's going to annoy me, isn't it? It's going to just go straight back up. Retesting that 400. We want a trap. We want some form of bear trap, right? Something, some form of wash, right? Some form of wash, and then like this is what we want. Looking for structure to be built out here. Yeah, my funded futures just announced trading view issues. That means trade of 8 issues. That means there's trade of 8 issues across the board. So maybe I had these issues early yesterday. And no one said anything about it, and I won't be giving my red day back, but everyone else today who has issues probably will be. Let's see, we'll just have to wait and see. Still chopping around. You're still inside that M15. Remember, those of you playing the opening range, your M15 right now, this is it. We're inside. Right, we're just inside. Finding a bid so far on the Globex. Remember, this level here is at RBS level for Globex. If we go left, you can see it. New York and Globex, resistance, resistance, resistance. We're looking for some form of support in there. Ideally, some structure, though. Move this down into a 1 minute. Ideally, we want some structure in here to form, rather than this chop, which is what we're currently getting. So I'm still sitting out of this, folks. VIX is trying to break out of this really big downtrend it's been in for the last 2 or 3 sessions. It's trying to break out of it. Keeps testing it. Nothing for me to play here. Could argue I could have just put a wish bid down there at 75, but then I'd be playing against the structure. But it would have bagged me some, that would have been my day already, wouldn't it? It would have been nice, 40 odd points already. But we play structure here, we're waiting. Exactly, Scrooge, exactly. Tesla now 2% down, just under 2% down. Nvidia coming up to 1.5% down. Meta 1.2% up. Google 0.5% up. Amazon just under 1% up. Microsoft just under 0.5% up. Apple just over 0.5% up. Mixed bag in the Mag 7. VIX trying to find a bid. Like we keep talking about, VIX is trying to break out of its downtrend. All right, it's been a very, very strong downtrend. It's trying to break out. I'm just looking at like the 5-minute charts and stuff, and they just look a little bit ugly right now. So maybe we can drift lower and set that trap. Don't want to be bidding right, on a wash down. I need it to trap and then start to turn and reclaim some levels. Very, very early in this session still. But we're coming back towards some of these key levels. Maybe it can drift lower. Remember, we said 70s and then maybe 50s, somewhere around there if it finds a bid. If it starts letting go of those levels, I am instantly not interested in this day. It means we're just going to chop back and forth because we're going to go inside of yesterday's range and inside of yesterday's initial balance, which is where we spent most of the day chopping and most of the evening chopping. So thinking about this chart here, let's move you up. If we can't find bids here, then we can come back down for this, right? If we can't find bids in here, it's possible we come back down for this. If we start chopping in here all day, this is a place where I'm not interested in executing trades. Back down under VWAP. Yesterday's VWAP would take us down to basically 47, 50s. In a downtrend here so far at the open, you can see it failed push into supply and got sold. Yes, pretty much closed the gap. SPY has not quite closed its gap yet, so that might be the move here. It might be looking to close the SPY, the cash gap. So we have a little divergence there between ES and the SPY. So maybe SPY to 574.08 might be what this market is looking to do. Close that cash gap. We've got the 200-day moving average right underneath that as well. So maybe back test that. If they find bids there, maybe that's the move today to move higher from that point. If they don't find bids there, again, we go inside range. Becomes pretty crap at that point, inside range. I'll probably wait, or what I'll probably do is just trade one micro on a rotation very quickly to lock in my trade day. So I'm looking to take money out the market this Friday. Well, I'll probably... Can I do that? Today would be 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I can. Looking to take money out of the market this Friday. So all pushes being sold into so far. The question is, do they find some buyers in here in these key levels, which are starting to come up? We're starting to base in one right now. The next one will be down here. Underneath that, I don't like it. Then we're looking for that. Probably underneath this, if we get stuck here, this becomes more and more probable. This is Globex low right down here. And that is a problem at that point because this is a deep pullback. And under here, we open up the door for a big old wash because underneath this, we're basically H1, just straight bars up. All right, so this is the last section where H1 has had some form of consolidation. Underneath that, it's a straight bar up below volume. So gap now officially filled across all indexes, right? Previous day close, officially gap filled across all indexes. You can see the market trying to find a bid there. SPY finding a bid there. As soon as we tapped it, it found a bid there. So that was definitely what the market was looking for a start. Now we need to wait to see if we can build some structure. My ninja's now frozen. Maybe I'm getting the trade of 8 issues now as well. Oh my gosh. Just to make it doubly stressful, eh? All right, so let's see here. ES closed the gap, finding a bid, sitting on its gap fill on PDC. The SPY closed the gap, finding a bid, sitting above it. They're both sitting underneath VWAP. QQQ underneath VWAP, NQ right at its VWAP. All right, we're just going to have to see how this operates. We are currently in bearish structure. Since the New York Open, we're in bearish structure. There's your lower low. There's a sweep. Lower low, lower high. Lower low, do we set a lower high? We're not looking bearish until we start bearish. We're not looking for buys until we start to change that, all right? We don't just bid into this and hope. Liquidity on the book still messing around a little bit, stacking up both sides. Remember, we've got news coming at 10 o'clock as well. All right, news at 10. My feeling is they're going to make this really tricky for us today. Watching ES here if it reclaims VWAP or if they backtest it and sell into it. Oh. Did any of you catch any of those shorts on the way down that I talked about? Maybe some of you took them. Maybe some of you took them. For evals, I mean, for evals, I'm more aggressive with my sizing, but I still wait for the setup. But I'll be more aggressive for the sizing, right? So I like to pass the evals quick. So I'll wait for the setup, and then I'll smash it. When there's a good setup there, I'll come in a bit heavier. Mr. Slim, Christie, both took those shorts. Nice work. Nice work, folks. All right, ES back to VWAP, back testing its VWAP right now. If they start letting this through, then potentially that squeezes on. NQ is going to make it very tricky for us in its positioning. ES looks very, very good in how it's trading today. So there's the drive up. Trying to get acceptance above VWAP here on the ES. Spiders yet to get to VWAP. Qs at the VWAP right now. That move into our box so far holding. So far the structure is still technically bearish. Okay, there's your sweep. This is bearish. It will get bullish if we get back above here. And then we're going to be forced to buy high. It's not ideal. Multi-year decline. Yeah, it would not surprise me at all, Peter. Julian with the W. Lots of you got that. Florida man got it. Nice. All right, news coming here in just over 5 minutes. Range is still tight here, folks. All right, 67-point range on the day. All right, still trading inside our opening range. There's the drive up. So reclaiming and starting to drive up. This is going to entice longs to start getting involved now. I'm not ready to do that. Definitely not before the news. Always hard when it does these kind of moves. Because the back test happens. There's a little sweep here. We move away from it. We're still not technically bullish. And our buy zone is down here. All right, so it's hard. We're going to need something like that. And the range is tighter, which is going to make it really, really hard to participate here with good RR. Previous day high here being taken or tapped into on the NQ. Remember, the ES has rejected previous day high, as has the SPY. I'm not convinced the SPY at VWAP yet either. Struggling to push through VWAP. So cash players and option players in the SPY and QQQ, probably the players that we're watching most today. Oh my gosh, off that buy zone. Big old rip. Big old rip off that buy zone. Not particularly attractive action, though. We got the zones right, but it's just not moving particularly nice between them right now. VIX has now broken out of its downtrend. It's coming to back test its downtrend now. All right, so it broke out above it. It's coming to back test it. If it finds bids here, it has a bigger upside move in it today, which will cause pressure on the market. So I'm watching very, very closely. All the way to top of range, rotation. Look at this. This is what's tough. All right, we come down, we sweep, we come into zone, and we move straight away. Flow zone's kind of flat. No pullback for us to play yet. Now we're going to sweep liquidity top side of New York before the news, leaving us very, very little targets other than this right here and the external stuff up here. So they're making this hard for us today. Watching now to see if this pullback gets absorbed. I'm not going to take anything now, all right? I'm not going to take anything right now. You're probably thinking this guy is taking way too long, but we've got news now in 3 minutes. So when we went from one zone, we've gone all the way back up towards supply into the next zone. But we knew this here was an RBS level, and we know this is a supply level. This is the red block, and we're just trading between these. This is not a whole lot of range in here to play with right now. I do not want to be buying up here and getting stuck. We've got news coming. Not convinced with the spiders right now either. Really not convinced with the spiders. ES can't get through previous day high. SPY can't get through previous day high, and it hasn't had a close over its VWAP yet on the SPY. Relative strength in the Qs for sure, but look at Tesla and Nvidia, both 1.5% down right now. mixed bag. We're pretty much flat. NQ is only 0.22% up on the session, or on the day, actually. This is just choppy right now. We're not in a confirmed trend higher. My thought is that we want to drift higher and take out 500 today, and we want to be getting involved from good prices, but it's doing that without giving us much opportunity here. Arturo, too many tech issues, lost a bit. I'm out. Take care, room. Well, it sounds like there's many issues then with Tradeovate and stuff. This is what I had yesterday. It's a shame, you know, trading is very, very hard. Then when we have tech issues like a lack of data or can't execute any of these things, it just makes it impossible to trade. That's what I had yesterday. And the unfortunate thing is no one wants to put their hand up and be like, hey, that was an issue our end with data. We'll refund you or whatever. You know, you get left hanging. It's crap unless there's a data outage and everyone experiences it, and then a firm's, you know, pressure put on firms to do something. So 30 seconds until news, until that new candle. Remember, we're currently trading inside of our opening range. All right, we're basing above Globex, but we're inside of the opening range. Opening range is here to here. All right, we're just basing inside. Here's Globex, here's yesterday. If we build here, this is an option, but it is not a great location, but it is possible. I'm not convinced because of ES right now. ES and the SPY right now do not look good. They really do not look good. They're not reclaiming key levels. Big old swipe up there. Expanding the New York range, taking all the stops, trading back inside, letting this calm down. Books thinned right out. No one on the book now other than a small seller at 450 and a small buyer at 350. Just be patient here, folks. You don't want to get whipped around. All right, this market this morning is trying to trap people. It's building liquidity for the next leg. Remember, we are snipers in the market. We don't want to take shotguns or machine guns into a room. Right? We want to be the snipers waiting for the execution. Lots of people getting hurt here. SPY coming back down to its gap fill. Consumer confidence, 92.9 versus 94, so that's coming lower. Month over month, home sales coming way lower. All right, 1.8 versus 3.5, so no sales of homes right now. No one's got the cash to buy. Surprise, surprise. Yeah, not a good print, really. I mean, you don't have to be a genius to work that out, do you? That, you know, consumers have got no confidence right now. No one's got any money to spend. It's pretty obvious. Pretty obvious. And people are worried. Even businesses are worried. They're making cutbacks because they're worried about these tariffs. So new low of day coming here on the ES. All right, relative strength here in the Qs, like we've talked about. New low of day on the ES. So ES, the weak one today, so far anyway. Coming back down to test that key area. All right, so we've swiped and we've cleared. Remember, we've cleared out all these people now. All the shorts got their stops run. Now we're trading back inside. This is just a nasty day. This is what happens when we need to trap and we need to build. Where I don't want to trade is down here. All right, if we find a bid here, I'm interested. If we find a sell underneath this, I'm interested. I'm not interested really in this zone unless it's very clear and obvious. That newsprint was not good for the market in general. Strengthening labor, and we've got, you know, inflation's coming down and blah, blah. Yeah, bollocks, mate. You talk bollocks at every FOMC meeting. You all talk a load of bollocks and you all contradict each other. Every Fed member yesterday came out saying inflation is sticky. We're basically not on track for 2%. We're going to be higher for longer. Everyone with common sense knows that. And so we get prints like today, which are way outside. I mean, that came in way cooler on consumer confidence, and we sell it. We sell that print. Book's still not really thickening up here. I'm just waiting a little bit. All right, 20,350, 100 lot on the book down there looking to get filled. Remember, we said those are the sort of levels, 370, 350s. How we act there will be key. SPY testing its 200-day here. All right, the SPY testing its 200-day here underneath PDC. Does it find a bid in and around this 200-day to go back upside? All right, if not, then we trade back inside yesterday's range, giving us an inside bar. Think about your daily. All right, we're currently inside. Right, and if we want to go deeper, we can trade all the way back down to 20,175 very, very easily on the daily if it wants to. That would be a back test of old breakout levels. All right, so your main RBS on the daily is way, way, way lower. Just remember that if you're thinking about longs today. All right, you cannot think about longs without structure. So far today, all we've done is go basically up 40 points and down 40 points from the open. That's all we've done. No clear trend. All right, look at flow zones flattening out. This is what you're doing. Sweep one side, sweep the other side, sweep that side. All right, you've probably got some form of broadening formation here. Yeah, these are hard to play. Be very, very, very careful today, folks. So SPY finding a bid off that 200-day. Gosh, sinuses. Back into that Globex area right now. Like I said, the spiders have had relative weakness here. This is the one thing I'm a bit concerned about. Look at the VIX. VIX starting to break out now. VIX starting to go. 1760s on deck now. Let's have a look at that pivot. So it's breaking out of its downtrend. I would say any push above 1777 can give it like real relief, okay? And it can go and run up to 1836 very, very quickly because we've got sort of trend line liquidity built there. All right, very, very easy for it to go and run up there if it wants to, VIX. So next level for VIX, 1777. If it takes that out, then it can squeeze higher on the VIX, giving downside pressure in this market. So far, chop, 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 back and forth, back and forth. ES back to VWAP here. Still not executed a trade, folks. All right, I want you to see, like, I have not executed a trade. There's nothing in here right now. I'm not executing any trades. Just waiting. We will be patient. Something will set up. If not this session, the next session. If not today, tomorrow. ES rejecting VWAP there. We're just inside range. No clear trend. You basically, edges are paying this morning and nothing else. That's why from this point here where we said it's a buy zone, it went straight up. From this point here, remember the red box starts here, it's swept and it's a sell zone. It went straight back down to the buy zone, right? We're not building structure because we're not in a trend. This is designed to hurt you all right? This is designed to trap people, and at some point it will exploit their stops. When do I like trading? Trend. I don't mind if it's counter trend on a higher time frame like yesterday. I'm happy to, as you know, yesterday I was looking for longs all day long. I was looking for longs for the drive to 400. I actually caught one end of day finally to make a little bit of money back on one of my accounts. We take the main trend for the day. We let that set up. Do not be clicking buttons trying to trade absolutely everything here. Inside bars. Inside daily bar. Well, I was trying to print outside at the moment, but pretty much inside bar on these lows. Snap of this can cause a wash to here. Snap of this, wash to here. Snap of this, wash to here. All right, this is far down at that point. This is our main daily RBS level all the way down here. Needs to really hold that orange box and here for me to be confident about longs. All right, something like this with a little trap. We can trap here. I don't mind which to be confident about longs. Location right now for a long is terrible. We had divergence here. Okay, right here. All right, ES came down and swept. NQ didn't. Relative strength in NQ, so it doesn't sweep today. It doesn't. It's not interested in sweeping today, apparently. Only ES. SPY back to VWAP. Let's see how it operates here. SPY still underneath previous day high, as is the ES. All right, relative weakness in the spiders today versus the Qs. We're back into the top side of this range, is where seller's been all day long. Remember, every time we've come up here, other than that one swipe, we've been selling into this. Look at your hourly bars right now. The last few hours. Not very nice, are they? Wick high, wick low. This is the new hour. So far holding this level, you can see why I was saying if we hold this, we can go upside. These are ugly, ugly bars. If we move this to a 4 hour, 4 hour basically reprinted down, found a bid, trying to go upside. So I still like upside, just don't like the location. Remember, I'm mainly trading off hourly bars. That's what I'm interested in. At least the levels, it's what I'm interested in. Trader rate's still down. Does that mean I haven't taken a trade yet? Right, I'm going to try a trade on one account. Not. Let's see if it will action something in, because I don't care if this doesn't work, but I'm not trading it on a PA. See if it fills and allows me to do anything. Seems fine for me. Not having any issues here. My side, but that doesn't mean that's the case for everyone. You just lost all connections, Julian. Julian, who are you using Tradeovate through, may I ask? Ninja with Apex, yeah, that's what I'm using. That scares me a bit. Because it was working for me, which means if I take a trade, it might not work. Have Apex said anything yet? This is trying to build liquidity to go higher here. Again, you're just in a range right now. Look at the flow zones. Everything's flat. SPY at its VWAP, or just over it. The previous day high is key here on the ES, and there you go, starting to squeeze now. Previous day high is key here, I'd say, on the ES. That's where it keeps rejecting all day long. So rejecting that again so far. Finding sellers at previous day high so far on the ES. Yeah, seems to be working for me. I'm just trying on like a trial account on a not on a PA account. Top side still fading there. ES still fading previous day high. Everything's still getting stuck up there so far. There you go. So ES is basically giving you the direction today, all right? Ignore NQ. These levels on NQ are a bit choppy, but ES fading, failing the previous day high again. Choppy, choppy, choppy here. Look at the hourly. Chop, 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 chop. That's all we're doing, chopping around. Does SPY find a bid here again off VWAP? Do they have another attempt to go higher here? I have no idea. Like, it's very, very messy action. It's trying to build that liquidity to go higher here, but it's just very, very tricky. Without ES and the spiders getting through previous day high, it feels less and less likely for that bigger move up towards 500 on the NQ, put it that way. There is a seller at 475, which would take us to the top side of this range. 500 is definitely the draw if we can get going, in my opinion. It's just how it gets there. Does it need one more shove down, one more trap? Has it trapped enough? ES into previous day high yet again. This is like the third or fourth attempt here into previous day high on ES. Exactly, that inverse head and shoulders type look. That's what it's trying to do. SPY through previous day high now. ES not quite there yet. I'm still not convinced here. I need the market to get going like all together, basically, all in one go. $500 is the target. That's where it wants to get to if it can get going. 500 definitely the target today. Starting to see that acceleration now, starting to join this small size because I still don't trust it yet. Still don't trust this yet. We're still looking at the opening range. We're still inside other than the sweep. But if we can start basing above, again, the location is terrible, which is why I'm also small side. I really hate these setups when they do this. Scalped a little bit out at the top there. Watching previous day high here. And again, ES failing previous day high, SPY losing previous day high. I've taken this off already. And this is, I don't like the sync, basically, between the ES, SPY, and the Qs. The spiders cannot get through previous day high. What does that mean? On a daily, they're banging up and selling against it. Until the spiders are like, yeah, we're going to do the same move. We want to go higher. It's very, very hard to think about this as a trend move higher day towards 500. Even though it's what I would think wants to happen, it's very hard to think about that. We are basically just at the top of the range. We're boxed in here right now in this session. We need ES to do this with us. Yeah, messy day. Definitely a messy day. That's okay. Happens sometimes. ES having one more attempt. They're going to have one more attempt at this high, are they? I've just moved all my ninja stuff without meaning to, using control. Hate it when that happens. So annoying. What's this box? And you can't use Control Z on Ninja either, which is also really annoying. Oh no, come on, supply. Okay, drifting higher here, still drifting higher here. ES now starting to get acceptance, or at least the SPY looking like it might get acceptance above previous day high here. It's got overnight highs to aim for in the pre-market on the spiders, on the options chain, right? On the cash. Can it drive up towards 576s? We're looking to see if ES can find a bid here on previous day high. The 4 hour looks good to me. That dip down, all right, this dip down was a 4 hour price down and an hourly price down to hold. Right, you can see why I was looking at this. See this 4 hour here? Don't do that. Completely wrong one. Sorry, folks. Here's the 4 hour. Here's the reprice. All right, this is an hourly. If we go to a 4 hour reprice. All right, this is why I was looking for buys here if it would set up some bullish structure. We got down there. It just gave us no structure to play off. It just went into straight range rotation. You could argue you could buy that off the SMT or divergence. Trading view now, not loading properly. Fantastic. There we go, folks. All right, so we're still inside supply. All right, maybe this is hard to see. Let's make this a little bit brighter for you. All right, we're still inside supply here. It's not the ideal location. The draw is up here. All right, the wicks are up here, sort of 506, 500. That's where we're looking to get to today. It's what we're talking about all day long. Can we find a way of buying to get up there? The problem, again, I'm broken record. We are in range rotation right now, and the ES and spiders cannot bid and sustain above previous day high. So they've whipped through a few times this morning. There's no closure above it on any time frame right now. Do I think this wants to go higher? Yes. Is there a way of getting involved right now? Very, very hard. Look at your 15-minute chart. Those wick bottoms are ugly, aren't they? Really ugly. Douglas Harrington, thank you. Couldn't see that at all. Now good. What, the 4 hour you mean? The bottoms? Oh, the color. Sorry. Yeah. Apologies. All right. So the question is, does it base up here now for this move? This is a very, very tough place to think about a long because we're in range and we know this is supply. We know this is holding as demand down here. It's a tough thing to think about a long up here right now. The location is absolutely terrible. And like we said, we're not seeing follow through on the spiders right now. This might be a choppy day, choppy session, kind of to be expected. I'm selling on the tape here into 450. Above that, 475, 500. So the levels make sense. Hey, nice, Julian. So you managed to get out of your... was it you having TradeOvate issues? I think it was. Yeah, just get off the screens. I took like a 2-3 hour break yesterday because I was worried about tilt. Yes, having another attempt here to get through previous day high. Still selling in front of it. I'm still selling into it right now. Back and forth we go. All right, probably now is a good time to remind you, Tradeify sale is still on. All right, 30% off all 25, 100K and 150K accounts, and 35% off the 50K accounts right now. The growth account, 50K, is the best and cheapest account on the market versus any prop firm right now. So if you're gonna join Tradeify, if you don't like using Trading Drawdown, go for the growth account. It is the best one on the market right now. That has ended, so I don't know why that's showing up. You can try and use it, but it won't work. And also Apex also have a sale. Here goes the ES. ES finally getting going here. And not, and rejecting. So one pushover and a rejection here on the ES. What a chop fest this morning is. It's trying to build liquidity to go higher here. It is trying to build it, but it is an absolute chop fest this morning to do that move. Let's have a look at. What the flip is going on here? I'll delete these, man. Why does it keep flicking over? It's every time I hit a hotkey. So 7 minutes left until we print that initial balance. It wants to drift higher. It's just, can it get going? Seller there at 450. Then above that, 475 and 500. It wants to drift higher. The question is just, can it get going here? Can ES build above its previous day high, I guess is the question right now. Is it capable of doing that? Do they trap too many buyers here and they do another chop down? Yeah, 7 minutes of chop until the new hour. You're probably right. Until the initial balance. Tight range this morning, folks. Only 80 points. Hourly candle looks good for a drive higher. It's already swept one high, though, this current hourly candle. We'll need to sweep the current pivot high of 447, so basically 450 if we're going to get going. Remember how it's starting to build liquidity here. It becomes ugly. It can come and take all that out. Tesla's starting to find a bid here. Pulled 1% back from where it was. So only 0.75% down now. Nvidia still 1.41% down. Meta 1.37% up. Google 1% up. Amazon 0.75% up. Microsoft just over 0.5% up. Apple also found a bid 1% up. Over that 220 level. That was the key level for me from months ago, I seem to remember. Wondering if they do a little wash and run of everyone here before they think about that move higher. It's trying, isn't it? It's really trying to get going here. How long to the IB? 5 minutes left till that IB. New 5-minute bar here. Oh, it's definitely testing everyone today, this. Don't want to buy high. I really don't want to buy high in this. Yeah, for now, I think we just wait for that initial balance. The flow zones are still fairly flat. Like, they're in a buy, but if you think about what a trend looks like, these are still fairly flat. I mean, the difference from here to here is what, like 30 points? It's nothing. We need something like this if we were going to go today. Andrew H, the IB, it's just the highest price and the lowest price between 9:30 and 10:30. First hour of trading in New York time. All right, so during that time, it's when most institutions place most of their trades. All right, so currently it's here. So then once we get the IB set, all right, we have two options. We have a trend day, which is this, or we have a failed auction, which is this, back to view up, and then maybe back down to here. So let's actually put on that anchor from the New York Open as well, shall we? Just in case we're going to have a rotational day. There we go. So we're going to clean out that liquidity we talked about. And we talked about lack of structure here. Big move up, or big straight move up. Sweep some of these people out. Starting to play out now. So you see that pattern every day. lack of structure, it will sweep everyone out, and then it can think about returning if it wants. But again, look at ES again, back underneath previous day high again. SPY at previous day high and finding a bid. That's the big divergence here. It's between those two. Spider's starting to look a bit better. ES, iffy. What's up, Anant? Hope you're good. Here's the drive. Wow, just straight squeeze higher now. Cleared everyone out before that initial balance set. Are they going to offer a pullback, or are they going to just take out 350 now and offer absolutely nothing? They cleaned out high day there before the IB set. 1 minute left until the initial balance. Wow, there it goes. Without us. It's annoying, man. This is the tricky thing here. So 450, 475, 500 the next plays. Really wanted that after the IB. But of course it does it right before it, 30 seconds before, and we explode. Looking good now. It's looking good now. ES starting to drive back up towards pre-market highs. Spider's the same. So if they can get bids over this, then I think we get trend continuation up towards that 500 we talked about. Remember, we were looking long all morning. Unfortunately, didn't give us the ideal setup. So IB now set. Can still be failed auction here. 418, that's a very good buy. Well done, Louis. Very nice off the flow zones. Very, very nice. Watching to see if we build out like some structure for inverse right shoulder on the spiders or something that I can think about playing off. Looks like it wants to squeeze here, but it's not really offering anything. Oh, you got to laugh. You've just got to laugh. So IB high now set. That's your high day currently on that last squeeze up. Big old IB high up there. Can come all the way back down and build structure down here if it needs to. Then we can think about an auction higher, but again, value proposition of going higher here is terrible. Can chop right back down into where we just broke out from. Remember, it was just one big squeeze higher. Would love this to move higher in towards 500. Obviously, that would be a beautiful play for the day if we can hold an RBS around 38. But I just don't trust this market right now. If we can hold a pullback of this RBS, there's that move into 500. If it lets go of this, we've built liquidity here, and this is going to be horrible, and that will be your rotational day. That is the problem right now, those two scenarios. So all the way back down to the RBS. Here comes the RBS. So squeeze up and give it all back down to the flow zones and RBS. The question now is, do they hold this for their drive higher? If they are unable to hold this for the drive higher, we go back into that chop fest where we came from, and then, you know, potentially VWAP, previous day high. Those things are not out of the question. All right, they're not out of the question. So you have to be cautious here. We've seen it before, haven't we? We've seen these choppy days. It can do a rotation. It can go all the way back down to PDC if it wants. It can do whatever the hell it wants here because we're in an inside chop right now. We're inside IB. We'd like it to hold. Right? We'd love it to hold for a move higher. That would be very, very nice if it wants to play ball. But ES, we cleared the highs here on NQ. ES did not clear the highs. So you got divergence there. So we had ES cleared the lows and moved higher. NQ didn't. NQ cleared the highs and has dunked back inside so far. ES didn't. So you got sort of double divergence each side of the tape, if that makes sense. All right, so NQ didn't clear this level. ES came down here. NQ cleared this level. ES came here. And there we go. Chop all the way back down here. Not very pretty, is it? Inside IB today. Not very pretty. Rejecting that supply. Can ES find a bid here in front of PDH? Failure to make a new high here, I would be very, very worried about a deeper drive. You need ES to get going to pull the Qs up with it here. Failure to make a new high, I'd be very, very, very worried right now. What time do we have Fed talkers, folks? Anyone know? It goes to ES. It's trying to go back through its IB right now. Remember, it's got unfinished business. If it can get through IB, it can get to 5,834. Maybe the NQ can join in then. If NQ fails to make a new high here, all right, then it's going to set a lower high. That's going to be dangerous off that wash for those of you looking for longs or holding longs. No, there's more Fed talkers through the day, Miguel. There's definitely more through the day. Getting a little hot here. Give me a second. Little strip show under the lights. Gets hot under these lights in the morning. All right, remember, you're looking for, if this is going to get going, you're looking for 475. So far, it's holding. And the RBS, you're looking for a squeeze through 450s, 475, and then 500. That's what you want to see. You don't want this to see it set a lower high up here. That will be a problem. You need ES to break out. All right, you're looking for ES to break out. Tesla looking a little bit better here, which will help also. Come on, market. We're going to get going here for that hold of RBS. Can we get going here, market? Do you fancy doing something? Be nice, wouldn't it? The chop continues. Looking for that move up towards 500 if possible. Don't want to see it set a lower high here. Want it to rip. Oh, God, I can't draw. Looking for this move, all right? Looking for this move up to here. Holding flow zones right now. Look, your buys are looking good. There was your RBS. This block here held. You need this to break out here. Failure to break out is a problem. Why? Because it's an initial balance level as well. It's a big problem if it fails to go here. You need this to squeeze hard. Now looking good. ES trying to get going with it. Lots of selling here on the tape, all right? 460, 465, 475, 480, 500. That's where they are. noon is the next Fed talker. Thank you, Peter. Appreciate it. So look above there on the ES so far. Structure-wise, look at a 5-minute on the SPY versus pre-market levels. It's trying to build that right shoulder out to go higher. That's what it's trying to do. This market is looking to drift higher. So far, we're protecting that initial balance, though. But the market is in bullish structure now since this pivot low down here. I don't know why it does that every time. So we're looking to drift higher here, but we have to respect the initial balance. Right, it respected this block here. That was your dip for this push. Question is, can we go higher? Now, people saying that they have issues with rhythmic usernames as well. I just see that hit one of the rooms. I don't know which one. Just be aware. So up, up, up it goes. Remember, 500's where this thing's trying to go. Watching ES for when it takes out high of day here. You can take a partial when ES takes out high of day here. You do not want to get trapped here if they dunk it after taking out high of day here on the ES. And the spiders have just done the same. So SPY, new high of day here. Be careful if they sell into this now, all right? We would like to see this go all the way to 500. That's where we want to go. We want to go to 500. Yeah, it's not quite taken out the highs yet. Spiders have divergence there between the between the ETFs and the spiders and the futures. God, I cannot talk today. So see if they absorb this little imbalance to go higher here. It's what they're trying to do. It needs the market to participate with it, though. Here we go. Here we go. Lovely. All right, so it's still holding here, looking for that move towards 500. Come on, market. Come on, market. But our targets are up here. All right, so here's your little sweep. As long as, well, I'm watching ES here. Has it swept yet? No, still not swept. I still have bias upside here until ES sweeps. This is the target. All right, this is what we're trying to get long from here to here. This is where we want to get to. From here to here. There's your RBS level. There we should buy back in. Could have even bought that, buying very high at that point, so I'd be very small size and aggressive with your stop. And we're trying to get up into these levels. I am a bit peeved that this didn't give a nicer buy opportunity down here, because this was the level we talked about buying for this move. So it's looking very, very good. We can think about auction versus failed auction. All the time we hold, and I actually really like this level here, I would say all of this. All the time we are able to hold this, we have this upside shot. If we get through 500 and we continue squeezing, then we're thinking about 700, the old weekly low. All right, if we get through 500 and we fail, then we're looking at that trade back downside into the range. Hopefully this all makes sense. Lots of you should be in this long right now. All right, ES now taking the high. So partial here if I was you. And then hold your runners. Hold your runners. So 100 lot at 500. That's where we're trying to get to, 500 and over. Looking good here, folks. We're looking good. Runners, 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 runners. Shorts are definitely a little bit stuck right now. You don't want to be adding to your position up here, though, okay? Don't be adding to your position down up here. You should have been long here. Maybe even you could have taken a bit there, but don't be adding up here. We're extended from the flow zones. We're extended from the initial balance. We haven't come and back tested this. Right? Don't be adding up here for this squeeze. You might get lucky, but you might well get slammed on it. Hey, I love it. Nice one, Andrew. So flow zones, ever since that buy signal came in, they look good. Just had to let it build out the trend. And that pullback held. That was an RBS level plus the flow zones in an uptrend. Breakout. We just want continuation higher here. Only thing I'm be like a little bit touchy about here is that everything has taken its highs. So like we would expect a pullback at some point here. Might not give it though. By the looks of it, it's not interested in giving much right now. It's just in, let's go, let's go, let's go. And that's all it's in right now. Like we want to go higher and we want to go higher now. So that top level I've got in is 505, 506.50. I think that's the actual liquidity level on the book. These are swing highs on hourly charts. That's what I'm looking at. If you're wondering why that level, these highs here from Friday the 7th, these highs, that's what we're looking to trade up and take out. That's where swing shorts have their stops right now. So we're looking to try and take them out. And through that, we can look at a trade into sort of 700, an old weekly low. This is getting very extended here. So move your stop up with it. Looks good. Move your stop up with it. Please move your stop up with it. You don't want to give this whole thing back because a nasty flush down to here, which is very, very possible. All right. And then we can think about a re-add. Make sure you're paying yourself some money. Almost there. Creeping in on that 500s now, 20 points to go. And then through that, we're looking for that liquidity at 506 or 507. This is shorts covering here, Florida man, for this move up. Like, yes, it's very extended. I'm not buying up here. We bought much lower. We're holding for those moves, but don't be shorting. Don't be the guy guessing tops. We're in squeeze higher with liquidity to take higher. It will keep going. This is where shorts are getting trapped here. All right, if you got to think, where were short stops this morning? Here. All right, blew them out, held back, absorbed, and then they all blew out. This is shorts cover, 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 cover. They're causing us to go higher right now. Right, and we're just joining in behind them, scalping our way upside while they're covering. We're looking for that move, 500, 506, 507, that kind of liquidity area there. And we're going to take some more profits out there. And then if we get very, very lucky, if for some reason this market wants to go turbo, it will go up towards 700, an old weekly low. We're not buying up here right now. Relative strength in the NQs. ES starting to roll over, right? ES starting to look like it might want to come and back test some key levels. Very extended here in terms of this, aren't we? Can easily come back down to here. What's this? This is your next RBS. I would consider this whole zone important. This zone here. If it holds this, and without taking liquidity, we remain bullish. If it lets go of this, we're probably in a rotation back down, and this will become a failed auction. All right, so if we get under here, this move here becomes more probable. Until then, we're thinking longs. I want to see what ES does when it back tests its RBS and key level, which it looks like it's doing now, and we're exploding straight away out of it. There we go. Jesus. Didn't even get there. NQ, relative strength here. It's in a hurry to get to those 500s right now. There's 118 lot sitting at 500. Through that, we're just going to blow them out the water and take out the swing stops above at like 506. And this is definitely in a hurry to move up. Looking good here, folks. There you go. 87's almost there. 13 points left till you get to the 500. Coming into the top of this block here, and then all we've got left. Going to delete this because we basically chomped through it all now. And this is what we're aiming for now. This white line. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Tesla now green on the day. So Nvidia, the only one lagging today, just under 1% down. Tesla just closed its gap. We're going to see if it finds a bid above that now if they reject it. After closing its gap, remember Tesla opened under, it's come back to close. Let's see if they reject it back down or if it gets acceptance above, and then it can go into a squeeze territory if there are swing shorts involved in it. We're expecting a pullback here. Remember, we haven't taken all the liquidity. We haven't taken 500, so we're expecting a pullback here and some form of trap to then go higher. It's trying to encourage shorts to come and get involved in it to go higher right now. If you're not involved in this, you need to wait for a pullback. Do not be getting long up here. I want lots of W's in this chat once we take out 500 and 507. There's a nice trade here. We want these pullbacks that come in to hold initial balance high or just below. Why I'm saying just below is just because of the structure we built out. Yeah, so this kind of zone here, we can draw it in intraday. This kind of zone here, this needs to hold. All right, we want that to hold. So old hourly high, basically. We want that to hold. Let's have a look at these imbalances. And it's an M5 block down there. It looks, there's lots of reasons that should hold if we come down into it. If it doesn't hold, I'd be concerned. That's where we're looking for it to hold. Some form of, it would be really nice if it does, sort of like if this is the structure and then if it fails and this, be really nice. Or even like this little pivot there and we can go back upside. Something like that would be good. Come on, market, come deeper. Don't just like do that here. Deeper, 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 deeper. ES has already come back to its RBS level. That's the problem right now. ES is finding a bid off its RBS level. We're not there yet. All right, we're not here yet. ES's RBS is printed higher. All right, so ES is basically here and it's back testing it and it's trying to find a bid right now off that RBS level. We want this to come lower first. Trap in some more shorts. Remember, if we get shorts trapped in and we start turning around to go upside, it's their stops that we use to go higher. That's what we want. Come on, market. You got to come deeper than that for me. ES in a hurry here. ES trying to build out that flag to go above its RBS. This is not ideal for us to reload here, unfortunately. This is in a hurry to go higher. There goes ES taking out the highs already. Oh, what a pain. What an absolute pain you are. Well, if you're still holding 500 is where you want. ES clearing out its high there. This might sort of trap a little bit before it goes higher. Looking for that move to 506. Almost there, folks. We're almost there. So that was all caused by ES, the relative strength there on ES because it pulled back and held its RBS level. So it's why we didn't get that deep pullback. ES did the move. Relative strength. We're in trend A higher right now. The aim is that 500, 506. Can't say that enough. Just as a reminder. Lovely work, Cat. If you're wondering what I'm on about, if you're like, I don't understand why he's talking about ES, right? When we're looking at these, we look at them as a pair. If we go to ES, right, if we were going to draw out the RBS level on ES, it's here, isn't it? This level here, all right? Resistance, resistance, support. Where did we create that flag on ES? That's why we didn't get the move down here on the NQ. All right, because we're trading them as a pair. They run quite nicely together. Once one goes, the other will follow. As long as there's still liquidity above for it to search for, once one goes, the other will follow. Right, so it's the only reason this drift down didn't come into this blue box. It's because effectively it did it on its pair. See if this will reload it. Nope. Just going to check where those hourly highs are on the ES, because maybe they've taken them. $45s is what you're looking at ES. Or 44.75. That's where the ES hourly liquidity is if it's going to go for that sweep. Oh, sorry, team. Okay, still looking good here. Is there any coffee left? All right, still looking good here. Sorry, folks. Hid the car keys from my wife. Still looking good here. ES still got liquidity. It can search for higher, like we talked about. The hourly highs on ES, if it's really going to go for it, are 844. The hourly highs we're looking for on NQ are up here, sort of 506-ish. We do not want to buy up here. This is very dangerous. All right, remember the buys today. Unfortunately, the buys I wanted were down here. Didn't take that, and probably should have just started adding in this move, but it's just awkward around the news. But hey, it is what it is. Maybe didn't trust this market enough today. Maybe should have trusted the market a little bit more, because this is exactly what we planned out pre-market, isn't it? Exactly what we planned out pre-market. Even in Discord, where were we looking for? We're only interested in longs into the yellow box and go. All right, above this level and go. Exactly what we're doing. TR, I'm not repeating that out loud. I would get an absolute smack. Thanks, darling. Still holding flow zones then. No reason to be thinking short here, by the way. In case any of you are these people who like to pick tops, all right? We are multi-time frame up right now. We are in trend up. We're above the initial balance with a clear draw on liquidity up here. All right? Do not be picking shorts. That does not mean that this can't wash down, all right? Yes, you might get paid and get lucky and it does this move here that we're talking about. But is it worth it? Is it worth getting yourself stuck? I don't think so. Get out of the habit of picking tops and bottoms. It's where most traders fail. They pick tops and bottoms. There's two big fails in the market, right? You pick the top and the bottom, or you chase. One or the other. You're either fighting it or you're chasing it late. So just watching this market now. SPY is into its supply block, as is the ES. QQQ actually peeked through it. All right, there's one thing here. Let me just triple check this, folks. Did we take it on the cash market? 93s. All right, so we do have a bit of divergence here, folks. We actually have some divergence here. Most will never see this. Okay, this high that we're looking at, why have I drawn it here? This high that we're looking at taking on the ES is here on the NQ. This is why I watch the ETFs, all right? Because of rollovers and things like that, you get some changes. I want to show you, because this is a nice technique. I'm giving you some edge here that people will not show you. You're not going to get this from ICT or anyone else. They won't show you this because they just ignore it. Where is the high here? Right, it's here, isn't it? Remember, most players in the market are playing the ETFs we just swept, all right? And I've only just seen that. That's my bad. There's some edge for you that you will not find anywhere else. I'm telling you, no one's looking at divergence between ETFs and the market, but that just happened. I should have been more aware of that. I've only just seen it on that reaction. Doesn't mean we can't go back for that 506s. It's still what I'm looking for. Sorry, let me just get back to the right NQ chart here. There we go. Right, I'm still looking for that drive to 506s, but I'm now aware that we swept it on the cash market. Why does that matter? Everyone always asks me, why are you looking at ETFs? Why are you looking at ETFs? What are most traders playing? All right, most people in the market, they are playing SPY and QQQ more than traders playing ES and NQ. All right, most participants playing SPY and QQQ. So it does matter that we've taken that. Like we said, we're looking for this move now. Right, this would be lovely. We can set this up, this inverse head and shoulder. A 2-leg would be great here. That would be how we trap more in. 1, 2, boom. That would be really nice rather than just a little pullback here. ES holding its IBH. All right, ES soaked straight off IBH there while I was talking. Does ES follow SPY? Yeah, like same, right? It's just the futures of the SPY or SPX. Kaladin, only paper trading on TradingView at the moment, still working, finishing the course. The things you talked about are starting to make much more sense. And $600 up on the paper account so far this week. Lovely work, Kaladin. Yeah, honestly, if you do the course and then you turn up here live and you're in the Discord, it will all glue it together. I've said it a few times that only reason I trade live on YouTube is actually to help my students doing the course. That's why we started it in September, because I realized that doing the course can feel like a lot, but once I trade live and I start talking about the things that you're learning in the course, I don't talk about all of it because I don't want to give away too much edge. Like I just gave quite a lot of edge away there. Let me know if you've ever heard anyone talk about the divergence between ETF and futures. I never have. So this inverse head and shoulders trying to build out here. We would prefer a second leg down, all right? We would have preferred 1, 2, all right? This is how we trap shorts in because they'd go short here and then we'd be able to use their stops, 2 levels of stop, 1, 2 to go higher. That would be preferential. 1, 2 into here and so can go. That's what I'm looking for. I don't want to buy high off like one little pullback here. That's not enough shorts trapped in. I want to see a nice big move in and then I want to see it hold structure. I'm also watching the ES and I'm also aware that we took the high out here on the QQQ. This high is here on the QQQ, all right? So the options chain just ran it, right? Everyone who had puts versus this level, they just got smoked. I don't know that, but I can guess it from understanding the levels. Jesse M, you're my YouTube student. Yeah, that's all right, Jesse. Lots of you just turn up here on YouTube and don't do the course. That's also fine, absolutely fine. It just means sometimes you might struggle to fill in the gaps a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. So looking for that second leg down, ideally to get back up. Ideally to get back up, that's what we'd like. But so far, just holding all the flow zones on me. Ideally, we'd like 2 legs down and a soak. The only thing I'm going to be cautious of there is the ES. VIX, by the way, has broken its downtrend and starting to consolidate sideways. So I've also got one eye on that. If the VIX starts breaking out here in a sort of 5-minute flag after breaking its main trend, I'd be very, very cautious about any more longs in this market. But so far, we look okay. It's the kind of move we're looking for. It's just in such a hurry to do it, isn't it? Such a hurry to go. Remember, big seller. Well, I say big. 136 lot. It's the biggest we've had all day on the tape. He's just sat on the tape there at 500. For your interest, gold had a nice head and shoulders on the 2-minute. I always say I should be trading gold more. It respects, I tell you what, who trades gold? Malaysian traders. Why? Because it respects Malaysian SNR, which is how I trade. Yes, new H1 here. Thank you, JD Florida man. Thank you. I would have missed that. Yeah, new H1 here. So H1 highs are here. H1 rebalance would be 50s, would be down here. So if H1 rebalances, it's coming back down into here. So H1 just taking out the highs now. You're getting very, very close to that 500, remember. Through that, you're looking at 506. This is in a hurry. Every pullback right now is soaking. This just wants to go higher. It's not doing anything else other than going higher. Got to be careful if it sweeps H1 and then gets stuck inside right now. $506. Is that the level? Just double, triple checking. 506, yeah. 506. 506, 507. 506.50, I think it actually is. This white level. Yeah. So far, swept the H1 highs. ES hasn't joined in yet. 500 on the book. 144 lot there now at 500. Selling in front of that 500 there. Like I said, I'm waiting for a second leg, which is not looking too good now. They're going to absorb this shoulder. It's going to be here and now. Curious about this VIX. Starting to build a bit of a bull flag here outside its major downtrend on top of major demand. I'm a little bit worried about seeing that. Especially knowing that on the Qs, we took out a key level. Tesla gone back red again, 0.25% down. So Tesla gapped down, went and back tested its previous day close, and it found some sellers there. So swing short still in control on Tesla. All the time it's doing that. Nvidia still just over 1% down. Meta 1.85% up. Google 1.5% up. Amazon 1% up. Microsoft just over 0.5% up. Apple 1.35% up. So most of the market kind of in the same place it was as last time I called out. Not much of a change. Only change released Tesla. ES is trying to build that kind of flag look on top of its IB high right now. It's what ES is trying to do. Still got that seller at 500. This feels like it wants to go here. It's just annoying that it didn't come back down to our level. Again, ES found a bid there on its IB high. So this right here, ES came, this move here, ES came into this. It did the move. So ES being a very clean trader today. Very, very clean, I'd say, on ES. It's a better looking chart all round. I'll just move this over. When you think about this, here's your pivot. So we walked it down on ES, swept, turned inside. There's your pullback long, pullback long, pullback long, flag into IB, RBS long. So ES is performing very well from a technical standpoint. It's very, very clean right now. Alex, you have great commentary. Thank you, Mr. Slim. Hopefully it's helpful. Hopefully it's helpful. We're almost there. It's almost at those 506, 507s. 506, 507s. Wants to go and take them out. 500 is where that big seller is. It wants to take that out, and then it wants to go 506, 507s. That's what it is in a hurry to try and attempt to do here. What do we tap there? 95s. ES looking better and better and better by the second. Just don't like the offering here for a new position, unfortunately. 50 minutes left or so until lunch here, folks. The reason I don't like it is we're printing H1 highs, right? This is your, where's the old H1? Right, this can be a sweep to rebalance. which is where I want to buy. I want to buy down here. So this makes sense now. Let's have a look at the H1 so that you can all understand. Here's your H1 high. There's the imbalance. Where can it reprice to? Where do we want to long, ideally, to get long? There. Right, so right now you're buying high for this tiny little move, and your risk is down here. Remember, we've done the original buy zone I wanted today was down here. Missed it. It's okay, it happens sometimes. We're 100 points higher. So those who just buy off higher time frame structure, maybe that's something I need to start doing a bit more of with the tiny little size. I don't know. This market's not going to present opportunities. Could have always put a micro on for that move, for example. They're still building liquidity here. Everything's still bullish in terms of its structure. Still got a major draw. Has everyone bagged a load of money today on this move? You know, have you managed to get 20, 30, 40, 50 points out of it at least? Hopefully. Hopefully some of you have. Don't be buying up here at the top. Looking good. Still looking good. If you're still holding, you're still looking good. There's nothing in here that makes me think this can't go up to here right now. Right, so if you were long here, or maybe even you took that, which is braver than me, but maybe you took it, this is still looking very good for a drive up into here. Through 500, right, you got sellers at 500 right here. Through that, it should really, if it abuses them, it should get straight through that. At that point, you must take partial here in this zone. You must take a partial, and then you're just waiting for the reaction, because it's possible we can come all the way up here. It's unlikely, but it's possible. And a weekly model at this point, you know, if this is, I'm not giving away my edge. I'll do it in Discord. Weekly model, we're setting up perfect. All right. Those who've done the course, weekly model this week, we are setting up perfect for tomorrow. Hey, Andrew, I would like to say, Andrew, you've done really good there. You got chopped up early and you shut off your broker and you're up $12. Mate, to have the discipline to shut off knowing that you're getting chopped up is amazing trading. Forget the money as a process based. We should all be process based. I talk about it all the time. Who cares about the money? You need to learn discipline and when to take trades. That is really, really good trading. That's better trading than sitting here and making money if you know that you got chopped up. Louis, I'm still holding to 500. Peter holding to 500. Jeff locked in 38 points. Lovely. It wants to go to 500 for sure. I mean, he's on the tape there. There's 132 lot there. It wants to go there. It's just whether it needs any more games. APET announced that Rhythmic has ISP issues. Fantastic. They denied anything to do with me yesterday, even though I screen recorded absolutely everything. I got the usual, you know, standard statement back. And then I was like, can you actually watch the video, look at the screenshots and reply to the message? And then they were like, oh, yeah, we can see that there's issues there, but it's not us, it's TradeOvate. You need to contact them. I'm like, well, they're not going to give me my red day back, are they, for not being able to get in and out of trades? It's the one annoying thing. I do wonder, like, would you have these issues on a cash account? I bet you wouldn't. I bet you wouldn't. It's the amount of people using the servers. All right, so be careful here. Pull this trade down into here. If it wants to wash, can wash deep and then think about recovery later. Remember, just the one thing that I just say, QQQ took the equivalent of this level. All right, from a cash perspective and options chain perspective, we took that level out. Still like this bullish up to 500, 506, but I'm just making you aware that there was divergence and we did take out the swing hourly highs on the QQQ. Correct, Peter. Yeah, it's frustrating, especially when you provide evidence. It's theft. It's not like I made it up. Like I literally provided evidence of everything. But what are you going to do? I just got to eat the loss and move on. It's just part of the game, isn't it? And that's why I said to the team yesterday, I didn't help them too much in the afternoon. I ended up leaving because I was concerned about tilt, but I caught a really nice long later on. I got into that 449 and made just under $400 on runners, etc. Done for the day. Hey, love it, buddy. I'll catch up with you later. And lovely work. Lyndall, I'm back from par from trading Asian session yesterday. Alex, you are a unicorn teaching real trading and no BS. It's a gem. I'm truly grateful to you, sir. Thank you. Very kind of you. Absolutely welcome. All right, ES back testing. It's IB high here. All right, RBS and IB high is right here, right now for the ES. So we're watching this level. Does it do a sweep? We have relative strength in the Qs. All right, we're nowhere near here right now. This is where ES is. All right, so we understand this drive on ES was its high. Since then, it's done lower highs and a lower low. It did this move and now it's down. This move here was here and ES is now down here. All right, so this is key on ES. Does it absorb to go higher? If it fades, it's got previous day high and VWAP that can fade towards on the ES. I'm drawing that out so you can understand the divergence between the two if you were treating them as a pair. So far, it's finding that absorption on the IB high on the ES. They're trying to absorb that IB high on the ES for now. Still got that seller on the book, right? 495 and 500. Sellers on the book there. 495 and 500. Bids are down at 460, 450, 440, and they're not big size, all right? It's pretty thin on that move down to there. Value area high currently on the session all the way down at 440, which would be a complete refill of the last H1 candle that I'm just looking at right now. The 440 would be around here. Yeah, just the edge of the zone I was talking about. So I'm more interested, for me, I'm more interested in a long if we come down here and I see some absorption and a pattern. More interested in a long down here. If we can do something like this and the flow zone, then start to support and we go back upside. If we haven't taken this out. If we've taken this out and we come down here, I don't care about anything. All low-hanging fruits have gone at that point. I don't care about any more trades. So ES underneath, it's IBH right now. It might drift down here towards previous day high here. And we have to watch. Have to be very careful here. Right? If this does not hold this, everything's off the table because what you don't want is that. Right? So you want to move into here and absorption to go higher. Sorry, folks. I know I'm sniffing a lot. Still got this sort of head cold from a week ago. All right, looking like we're going to get that move. ES starting to sweep underneath that old low. Might get a little flush here on the ES, hopefully down towards previous day high on the ES. That will give us that move down towards the blue box on the NQ, and then I'll think about it. I'll think about it if it sets up. Andrew, I didn't go to any of those. I went to Mexico City. I went for a city break, a weekend city break in Mexico City. So they're still trying to hold this. ES still holding that IBH here. And it's still not come deep enough for me to really entertain the long here. So we have divergence again because the ES has swept this low. All right, we're currently down here on the ES. Yeah, stuck underneath IBH right now. ATR is too low for you. Well, it's currently at 9. I mean, it can change very, very quickly, that. Range isn't too bad. Still at like 130 points on the session or something. That's plenty of points. But each to their own. Totally understand if you like the high volatility in ATR. This is back to the old hourly close here where we are right now. And if they find a bid here, we can go back up to the current hourly high. They fail to find a bid here, we go back down to that blue box that we talked about. We haven't swept underneath it. The ES is much, much weaker right now. This finds a bid here, that 500 still yet to be taken, remember. If we find a bid here, 500 still yet to be taken. Here we go. So trying this very, very small size in case it wants to go without me. I really want to get all the way up to 506s here. Just because of the hourly level, that's all I was looking at there. Stop already in the money. Not going to give this any room at all. No room at all for me. If you're wondering why, okay, if you're wondering why, I'm watching this hourly level. We're going to hold this hourly close. We can have expansion. Any trade underneath this hourly close, I feel like we're coming back into there. So I'd be risk off, and then I'd have another look lower. I've got one eye on the ES as well. Still holding flow zones. Relative strength on the Qs. Divergence versus the internal sweep low on the ES. Starting to get heavy. Stopping out here. So like I said, stop in the money. I don't mind reattacking it. Don't mind having a couple attempts at this. There we go. So that was a good stop in the money. Like I said, one attempt. And if not, if we break that hourly transition, which we're starting to do now, you can see it right here. Breaking that hourly transition, we open the gate to 447, 437. Someone asked me yesterday in chat, I forget who it is, it might have been Clint, about moving stop into profit or break even too quick. That's the type of play when I do it. When I'm buying high for momentum and it either has to come in or it doesn't. That's the type of play like you see. Stop in the money straight away because I'm buying high. If I'm buying low, I'll give it more room. Still not swept that internal, but we have on the ES. This level here is being protected right now. Lots of games into here right now. This is still bullish. Still trying to get up there. That's where it wants to go. The better buy right now that it's broken that hourly close, the better buy right now is somewhere around here if it offers it. Running out of time here if it doesn't get down there soon. I don't want to be taking this trade into lunch, really. Yeah, don't blame me, Peter. I still think it wants to do it. It's shaping up to do it. It's just, can it trap enough shorts, right? You've got to think about this. Why did we move up here? I know you know all this stuff, Peter, but for others, why did we move up here? Shorts, 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 blown out shorts, squeeze. More shorts, blown out shorts, squeeze. More shorts, blown out shorts, squeeze. This, we need lots of shorts trapped in here. We need to encourage them to get in and then we abuse them, right? And then this stop run will get us to here. Right? Always think about who's trapped. How can we use them? Right? We want to use their pain to move the market. What has just gone on there? No idea. What I pressed there. Everything's still bullish. M5, M15, everything's still bullish here. ES starting to find a bid back above the IBH, holding its deep pullback flow zones. Location to buy is not ideal. This is tricky. Very, very tricky here. Yeah, VIX stuck sideways, but all the time VIX is in teens, mid to low teens, 17 to 15, we're thinking bullish. Like I said, if VIX starts breaking, I know it's broke out the downtrend, and it's got bid support down towards 17. If VIX breaks down, we go up even more. If VIX starts breaking 1777, right, then I think we get a bigger wash in the market. But VIX will go sideways. We're not really having, there's not a whole lot of momentum in this market right now. What are you doing, market? NQ having another little look. ES looks like it wants to get going, but just very hard to trust it right now. They're getting impatient with the sells right now, so they've split a couple orders now. So there's a 130 block in front of 95 and 125 or 23 block at 500. So they're splitting the orders to get sold. They're worried they're not going to get filled right now. That seller only came in, what's the time now? Came in like 7 minutes ago. Walking down into 90. So there's a fresh seller there into 90. Maybe he's trying to do that to drag the market up to him, and then he'll lift it and let 500 fill. We'll see. Yeah, still building out of that IBH. Right, yes, in a clear sort of downtrend lower time frame here. 5 minute and up, still very bullish. But in like the 2 minute on an ES, it's in like a downtrend. It's forming that potential flag. If it can't hold on to it, it's got that deeper wash back down towards previous day high and VWAP on the ES. We're looking for a potential buy on the NQ to back test the RBS level and the IB high, the blue box. That's where I'd like to participate as a buyer if it offers it. Right now, it seems to be very unwilling to offer me any move into there. Just feels like squeeze higher, squeeze higher, squeeze higher. It's all that this market wants to do right now. So here comes the 90 move. Clearing out some internals there. You're just midpoint of this range of this chop right now. It's not ideal. Potential to hold this, but I really don't like this lower time frame. Potential to hold this again. I really want to buy down here. I want a sweep, encourage shorts to chase in, and then a turnaround, and then I'll buy for the market back up. But if it won't do it, it's possible that it wants to hold this right now. Just sat waiting, trying to be a sniper, trying to be patient. Still like the longs. I would like the longs from deeper, but I still like the longs. I'm still long bias. Still think that 500 wants to get taken and 506. The question is, do they have enough shorts trapped yet to do that move? That is really the question right now. Lower time frame is starting to hold, but it's midpoint of the range. I don't like the buy here. From a technical standpoint, sure, that makes sense. But from a risk reward, boxed in, it doesn't make sense to me. But from a technical standpoint, if it holds this and builds this, there is potential. But from an RR perspective, it doesn't tick the boxes for me. These sellers are getting impatient here, looking to get filled. They're still there. 490, 115 lot, 495, 31 lot, 500, 126 lot, and then thin above that all the way to 600, 100 lot up at 600. Yeah, we're good. We're good, Crawford. We're up on the day. We took longs this morning. I missed my beautiful entry from my box. I missed it. It just didn't set up for me. We had the level, but it didn't make the confirmation for me. Maybe I could have played like an inversion momentum. I was just having a look at it a minute ago thinking, yeah, maybe on the SMT, which had SMT or divergence here, maybe I could have played that long because I wouldn't have needed much risk if I got in here 86. That would have been actually really good. I wouldn't have had to risk much. 16 points long, holding for 500. Would have given me 120 odd points. It's amazing risk reward. So maybe a little bit of a miss from me there. Catch you later, Peter. Have a good day. Still waiting here. Still waiting to see if the long sets up for me. We've got a new 5-minute, 15-minute, and 30-minute bar coming in 1 minute's time. All right, I'm waiting to see if this drifts down and offers a long. I'm not going to just buy this because if too many bulls get trapped up here, all right, and they smack this down and they want to do this, it will go back into rotation. It has to do something like this for me to think about it, all right? Make that really, really clear. I'm not just buying in this box. Mainly because what I'm concerned about is this level here was the QQQ equivalent of this level here. All right, so low-hanging fruit on the QQQ got taken. I don't think it's so much that floor demand. It's more like if you're a buyer in this market, do you want to buy right now? Right, let's think about this. Buyers, right? Big fish were buying down here. I think this day here, I called the reversal. I said, like, we're 14% down. We probably need some relief. If we think about this in terms of a swing, this is an area. If we're going to bear flag, this is an area which is very common for bear flag. If we're going to trade back into premium, then we're going 50 and golden zone, aren't we? And then we're going to look for a short from there. Back testing supply, probably. So this level here and these levels here is where the market will want to squeeze up to. But you'd want to be long down here for big money squeezes up. And then you'd be thinking about the short. And look at the Bollinger Band. So I don't think we get too much further. Maybe into 900s. Maybe into 900s. Because tomorrow the bull band will be here. All right, so if the bull band's here and this level here, we got confluence for this move here. But you'd want to be long from here into here, and then you'd be thinking about that short back down. Partial would be here in case it puts in a high low, and then holding for breaker structure if you're right for a swing long, swing short all the way back down. But you're going to start running out of room because look at the bulls. They're going to start to squeeze. All right, so we're probably going to do something like this. All right, just like we did here. And then it'll make its decision whether it goes down or we can't go back on this one because it's not in Q1, or goes upside. Off the squeeze. So just understanding the relationship between squeezing momentum and the higher time frame. Hey Alex, what's that burgundy line right at the open? Where am I looking, dude? This line here? Is this what you mean? This is previous day high. Previous day high. Let me know if I'm not looking at the right thing for you. But yeah, the red line, that's previous day high. All right, here comes the drift. So finally drifting down, repricing some of that H1. Remember, old H1 high, 448. Gap fill before that, 435. We can reprice lower here. ES coming down towards its previous day high. It's got a little bit to go, and then we've got VWAP as well. We can do a nasty little yank down and a turn back upside. That would be really nice. Sorry, team. Lots of yawns this morning. Tired. Slept well, but tired. Here we go then. Here's the yank. All right, beautiful. So shorts will start chasing this for this breakout short here. If we can encourage a few more and then we get a little turnaround, that would be really nice. So we want to see it wash down, maybe spiders into VWAP and previous day high, ES maybe into previous day high, and then see if we get a little turnaround there for some upside relief once this H1 finishes rebalancing. Remember, we kept talking about this move down in towards blue box for an H1 rebalance. If it wants to trade all the way down to 34, it can. Can happily trade all the way down to 34. Can happily keep going if it wants, remember. But that's the kind of area somewhere in here where we're going to start thinking about, can it show some bullish structure? Can it trap shorts, enough shorts in there? That's what we're thinking about. Maury, I'm trading the NQ here. So we're looking for breakout shorts to get trapped here. All right, breakout shorts versus these levels. We want a little trap down here and a turn back inside. And then I'm going to think about that move back upside if it offers it. If we just stay heavy here, I'm not looking for longs. All right, we'll have to put in structure down here to have me involved in it because momentum's coming out of the market. But I think a lot of buyers probably forcing that move up, getting trapped here. We need it to trap back the other way now. And ES letting all the air out right now. All right, ES coming back down towards previous day high. Remember, we're looking, don't turn around too soon. We're looking for the spiders to come back down towards VWAP. Yeah, everyone good here, Maury? Hope you're good. Thanks for joining. If you're new to the stream here, I'm here Monday to Friday from pre-market all the way into lunchtime. We've got another 25 minutes left. We have a very high success rate on stream here. We're very, very patient. But if you're new to trading futures, it's a good place to start because I try to teach while I trade. That's the key difference between me and some of these other YouTubers, let's say. All right, so far protecting that IBH. I want a sweep a little bit lower than that. I really want to see the spiders come down to VWAP and react down there. All right, if you're looking at SPY, VWAP previous day high, that kind of area, it's a big level this morning. We dipped under it, we came back inside. It was resistance, and then it was flipped over to an RBS level. I'm looking for that. Lovely, Moray. Look forward to working with you, my friend. No worries, Trentry. Yeah, red on my screen is always previous day high. That red line, always previous day high, key level. That's what ES is about to trade into right now. All right, so you got weakness in the spiders. Remember, relative weakness in the spiders today. They're trading back down towards previous day high. Starting to let go here, starting to look heavier. I still like a long here if it sets up, only if it sets up. But momentum coming out of the market. Don't want to fight momentum. Remember, low-hanging fruit on the QQQ was taken. That was the divergence that I kept talking about. The low-hanging fruit on the QQQ was taken. Those sellers are still up there. They never got filled. 95 and 500 never got filled there. Bull's currently stuck. I post like pictures in Discord of what I'm looking for and stuff, and constant discussion. Rarely go live in Discord because often I'm on the move, right? So I'm posting from my phone and letting them know what's setting up. They set price alerts for the rest of the day. So remember, this anchored view up is off the 9:30 open. This would be a full fill of the H1. If we come down here, think about this H1 bar. We had a big H1 bar up. This would be a full fill of the H1 bar back down. We went over that not long ago. Remember that H1 chart? We said back down into this level and this level. That's a rebalance. If it holds bids here, it goes higher. Failing to hold bids here, we turn back inside. This is what I'd be concerned about. What I said, I don't want to trade the rest of the day. If it just trades in here, I'm not interested. It has to hold this for bullish momentum, or I'm not interested at all. And I'll come back tomorrow and see if we're going to have bullish momentum or if we get some downside action to go and fill Sunday's gap. Right, IBH here. ES very close to previous day high. SPY very close to its VWAP. Feels like it's what the market's looking for right now. It's looking to see if there's bids down there. A clear momentum shift here, lower, but we're into that kind of zone that we're interested in seeing if it sets something up. We'd like one more shove lower for a little trap and then a turnaround. That would be ideal. Running out of time, though, into lunch. That's the big concern here, is we're running out of time into lunch. Nvidia now almost 1% down. Tesla almost 1% down. So forget which one closed the gap there. Maybe it was Tesla. No, maybe it was Nvidia. Nvidia closed the gap and got rejected. All right, so ES not quite at PDH, but finding a little bit of a bid in front of it. Spider's not quite a VWAP, finding a little bit of a bid in front of it. Don't just protect the IB. Come on. I want a trap here. I need a trap lower first. Just a dunk down and reversal. Don't want this just a bid off IB. I want a dunk lower and then a reversal. I want to see them trap shorts here. If I'm going to think about going long, I'm not going long without knowing that shorts are trapped in this market. It's short time frame, shorts trapped in the market. With that move to 500 still possible. Will offer me good RR at that point. Any major wash that doesn't recover, obviously, that goes off the table. You can probably hear my stomach rolling right now. I'm absolutely starving. Very patient today. One of those days that required patience. We only had a 93-point initial balance range, and we only expanded that by what, like 40 points? A range on the day about 130 points. Better days will set up. Better days will set up. Didn't help that the last 2 days we've gapped up so much. Didn't help with our sort of risk reward, so to speak. Come on, ES. You've got to get down to PDH, and SPY's got to get down to VWAP here for me to be interested. I want this to do one more big wash. Little snap wash lower, and then scoop it back upside. Here we go. Come on, wash down. So watching VWAP here on the spiders and watching PDH here on the ES. All right, and want to see if they absorb these levels and go back upside for a like trap kind of play to go like, nah, we've done what we can. Whoa. Did I lose you guys? I just got a message saying OBS disconnected. Everyone there in chat? That's not good. Everyone's there. Okay. Lagged twice. Yeah, I got a disconnection. Got a disconnection message came up from OBS. Look at all the tech issues I'm having the last few days. Grim. Absolutely grim. All right, so SPY traded into its VWAP. It's trying to find a little bid on its VWAP right now. ES just missed previous day high, protecting it for now. We're still looking for this move to see if they want to sort of do a trap play here to squeeze up at some point. If not, if they're just going to set the higher low, then obviously I'm not interested in anything at all. Lower high, I should say. God. Alex, sort your life out, mate. But SPY finding a bid. SPY finding a bid off the VWAP there. We're looking to see, really I'd like sort of, what I'd like is like a bit of an engulfing candle and this, all right? And then have shorts chase, get FOMO and this, and then we go all the way back up for these guys. There we go, all the way back up for these guys, what I'm looking for. So I want like a head, left shoulder, right shoulder. And I want to get involved a little early and then join and add here for that move to 500. That's what I'd like, but we're running out of time to lunch. Biggest problem here. Running out of time into lunch. What are you doing, market? You're going to go early. Come on, one more dunk. You can see it's reacting to that RBS level right now. Right here. Resistance, resistance, support in here. These sellers become buyers. That's what we're looking for. Holding its IB for now. Stuck at the flow zones. Flow zones turned bearish here, by the way, folks. All right, we'd need those to flip. That's why I want one more dunk. All right, one more dunk because the flow zones would do this, and then we use them as support. I'm not going to be too biased here, though. If they're just like, hey, we've had enough because, you know, this was a sweep. This got stuck. This was the break. All right, so I need to be aware it can do this if it wants to for the rest of the day. But ideally, I still want to trade upside. I still think there's a slightly unfinished business upside here. Maybe on a new hourly bar, or maybe we, which is not ideal because it means this hourly closes down here and we get into lunchtime, and I'm not going to trade lunchtime for upside moves. Sellers are still up there. They're looking to get filled higher. Big, like, effort there on the ES in front of previous day high. I would like one more sweep. I keep talking about it. I know I'm on repeat. It's what I want to see. I want one more push down. We're in bearish lower time frame here. One more shove. Here we go. Sorry, just replying to someone. So that's that kind of engulfing candle we're looking for. A little bit more would be nice. Maybe I should have sold that, to be honest, knowing that that was probably coming. Versus this level. All right, so this is support became resistance. They're selling versus this, and then we're going to look for this turn at some point. Hopefully, just got a feeling that we're going to run out of time. 15 minutes till lunch. I don't trade lunch, and it feels like it's what it wants to do. What is the golden box below previous day high? This was the top of Globex, right? This is the London Asia high and the support. So this was resistance, resistance, resistance became support. All right. It's a big level that we were playing off. It was the London Asia high. That's what we were looking to trade long off this morning. Finding a bid there on that blue box like we talked about. Structure still bearish currently in the lower time frame. Still bearish, still making lower highs and lower lows. Lower highs, lower lows until that changes. Do something very simple, like one of these on, maybe a steeper one. Yeah, still holding previous day high. SPY still yet to come into previous day high, but holding its VWAP right now. All right, the ETFs are holding their VWAPs right now. Be right back. Just gonna use the bathroom real quick. Hopefully it doesn't go without me. Sorry, folks. 2 giant cups of coffee and needed to relieve myself. All right, ES weakness here. Like we talked about all day, it's had relative weakness versus the Qs, which is interesting because NVIDIA and Tesla are starting to crawl back some of that negativity that they've had in today's session. Both now, NVIDIA about just over 0.5% down, Tesla just under 0.5% down. So SPY coming into previous day high here. The question is, does it find a bid at previous day high here? It's starting to let go of its VWAP here on the SPY. All right, the ES now underneath previous day high and in front of VWAP. Just dripping lower here, isn't it? You can see there's a shift here. All right, so that we are bidding up. There's your lower time frame shift. Rejection of these levels. All right, this is an R level. Right, so it's a let's do this the other way around. Support becomes resistance. We reclaim that, then this starts to open up for upside, especially if the ES wants to join in. Momentum trying to come in here around the VWAP here for the spiders. Probably a bit of shorts covering here, lower time frame shorts. My bias is upside. It's just we don't have that shift on the lower time frame. Lower time frame, we're in a downside move right now. Right, M1, M2, we're downside move. If you look at like an M5, yes, we're technically in downside, but we're right on a big sort of block here on the IB high, all the way down to sort of 30-ish, which is what we're talking about. If it wants to rebalance the whole H1, it will come all the way down to here. The whole H1. We've gone over that, if anyone's forgotten. If this H1 bar wants to rebalance, it can come down to this high, which is what we're bidding off now, and this high and VWAP right here, 33-ish, 34, 35. So anywhere between 50 and 35 will become key. If we start letting go of that, deeper prices for the remainder of the session, and we go inside the initial balance and we chop the remainder of the session. Hourly, sorry, H1 hourly, M1 1 minute. So if you hear me saying H1, H4, I'm talking about hourlies. You see, we hear me say M1, M2, M3, etc., etc. I'm talking about minute charts. ES looking pretty weak here, starting to roll. I want to be careful here. I don't want to be too biased for that upside move. I know I'm looking for that trap, but I do not want to be too biased about it. Tesla really starting to claw back now. Now under 0.25% down. Tesla might try and have another attempt to go red to green here. Rest of the market holding up well. Nvidia clawing back a bit. Meta 1.41% up. Google 1.10% up. Amazon just under 1% up. Microsoft 0.38% up. And Apple 1.19% up. The market's definitely in a sell. Lower time frame still in a sell here, like we said. No structure. This is the area we're interested in, but without structure, we're not longing. Right? We have zones, and then we wait for structures. Do not just guess, because if you are the type of person who is just long in here and adding and adding and adding and adding, and they decide to swipe it, and they can do that, you will blow up. All right? We need the shifts for us to be interested. Remember, if we stay heavy versus this, these buyers will become stuck in this market, and we go back into a rotation. IB high, VWAP, VWAP, IB low, all the way down here. Exactly, Miguel. Tomorrow's another day. Don't worry about it. Not the easiest action today. You have to be very patient. Better price probably coming in the next few days. Probably going to get better action, better momentum in the market. Sort of kicking myself I didn't take the sell down to these levels, if I'm honest. Still drifting lower. Those buyers starting to get liquidated now. Still drifting lower. Still coming back down to reprice that H1. Remember, repricing H1 into sort of 30s, 33s is possible. Might line up pretty good with that New York VWAP if it's going to do it. ES very, very weak here. Selling the whole thing off now. Underneath VWAP can come back down to previous day close at 8.15. If it's more likely that we get IB rotation day, but if ES starts to let go of PDC and IB low, I'd be very, very aware of that gap that we gapped up on Sunday, Friday to Monday gap. I was thinking we'd look at that later in the week, but it seems unusual to give this much back, but it's still tight range. It can still hold here. We got very close to filling that H1. Still no long here for me, right? Still no long. We're in short. Well, I'm not in a short, but you can be in shorts here until it proves otherwise. I'm focused on the long if it sets up. Again, I'm running out of time. 4 minutes till lunch. You know, there might be absolutely nothing for me to do here. It's the drift down then towards that New York VWAP, towards the H1. Wick to wick on the H1 will be sort of 34, 35, somewhere around there. That will be wick to wick. They really let go of this, then we're going to go all the way to PDH, right? If they let go of this, I'm not interested under here in anything. This is like my no zone for the remainder of the day. Right, so if it can't hold this, I become way, way less interested. I'll set price alerts lower because I'd rather sell lower if we're going to really start to shift momentum. But right now, it needs to hold this or that's me done for the day, and I'll set price alerts. ES letting go of VWAP now. So failed auction above IB high. Trade down to VWAP. Letting go of VWAP. It can trade down towards IB low. And it seems like it's in a hurry to do that right now. Market's starting to let go. This might seem like massive, but this pullback isn't exactly huge. When you compare the range to the last few days, it can still be bullish here and hold. That's the potential to do it. VIX starting to break upside here. 1750s now. So watching this back test on the ES of VWAP if it can do it. Buyers coming in here. What did we say? 34s? Not pretty close, didn't it? All right, this is the H1 reprice down here. We said This is sort of where it would need to hold. This is last line for that H1 reprice. Think about it. Push up. This is your pullback on the H1. Right, so if they're going to go again, they do this. This is going to be a pain because it's going to be in lunch, and I'm not going to take it. They're going to let go. Like I said, not interested if they let go of this. Swept the old H1 highs, and now trading back down. Swept the old H1 highs, now rebalanced that whole candle. 34s here. That was the move to the candle. New York VWAP here. Problem is, ES is very, very weak. If this wants to keep going back down towards previous day close and IB, it can do that. If it wants to do it, it can do it. Yeah, /Chi, the ES is the futures market for the S&P. Exactly that. Bit of volume coming in here versus that New York VWAP. You can see it. Last sort of swipe down. See that volume starting to increase on the sell versus that VWAP. They definitely bid off that VWAP. You see that volume off that H1 reprice. 1 minute until a new H1 candle. Not even that long. 30 seconds, and then I'm going to be out of here, folks. So unfortunately, not going to set up for me. It's probably going to set up in lunch, isn't it? No worries, Yulamar. Hope you had a good day. I think you got a win earlier on the longs this morning. Problem now is we're back inside that initial balance as well. All right, so we've gone from IB, failed auction, IB high to New York VWAP. Really, I'm looking at an auction if we start reclaiming levels and not before then. Here's your new H1 candle then. No worries, BU. There's the squeeze, all right? So they're starting to cover off that New York VWAP, off that reprice on the old H1, all right? So everything we talked about. They found a bid off that old H1 reprice. The question now is, does ES reclaim VWAP or not? So far, it's staying heavy versus VWAP. So that last push-up got sold into versus VWAP. That last push-up on the NQ got sold into versus the downtrend and versus the IB. Where would I be interested in longs if we reprice and we start building liquidity here, okay? This level here, somewhere up here, I'll be interested in longs again. Until then, not. I'm not going to take it into lunch either. So if this ends up, if I come back from lunch and we're up here, so be it. I don't care, all right? It's just one of those days where timing is everything, and it's not given us the perfect entries. We had the right thesis all day long, right? Longs off here this morning for a move towards 475, 500. Didn't quite get to 500. Missed it by a tiny bit, but took the QQQ level. It then eventually shifted. We said we want to think about buying somewhere in here. We're down in there, but now we're in lunch. So be it. There is not much else we can do at that point, is there? Like, we've done everything possible today. It either sets up or it doesn't, all right? So that's it from me. I will be back same time tomorrow. Those of you who are new to the stream, thank you for joining. If you're interested, you can do the course. The link is down below. One-time fee, $649. You get my indicators, 20-hour course, and lifetime into the Discord. I will be back tomorrow. Pre-market, we go again. Same thing. I really think tomorrow into the end of the week, we get much better moves, folks. All right. Today is a liquidity building sort of day in that slow drift higher. Tomorrow and the rest of the week, we will get better moves. So don't worry if you didn't hit your profit targets or you got chopped up a little today. Don't stress about it. Better action still to come. Make sure you survive for a new day. Peace and love. I'll be back real soon.